Hey everyone, it's Holly. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to do a Mad Men kind of Joan Holloway look. And I've been wearing my hair like this like 2 days out of every week since I got back from nationals. As you can tell, I've been doing that more than I've been cleaning my room because it's kind of a mess. This hairdo is an updo, so it's really good for prom, banquet, and I wear it to school just with jeans and a t-shirt, but it looks really, like, it takes a lot of time and it really doesn't. So here's what you're going to need to do this hair. I use dry shampoo on second day here. I'm a really big proponent of not washing your hair every day just because it makes it really fried. I used to dye my hair a lot, and so my hair is really crispy at the ends, and so I always just try to wash my hair every other day and use dry shampoo when I can. And this is Suave Professional Salon Proven Dry Shampoo. As you can see, it's a little yellow. And then I use a big teasing comb, and this is a rat tail one. It's really good for reaching under the hair and pulling it up to tease. So if you find one of these, you can find them at Sally's or sometimes in your makeup department at your grocery store. I've seen them there before. You're going to need I think it's called a banana clip. I'm not sure because I've never done one of these before. I have one of these holding up my hair right now. I just brushed through it. I had dry shampooed earlier as I was doing my makeup. So you're going to need at least one of these. You're also going to need hairspray, obviously. 1950s, lots and lots of hairspray. Oops. And then bobby pins. And this is also something you're going to need a lot of. Bobby pins, I go through probably 2 packages of them a month just because I lose them all the time or I leave them at people's houses. But this hairdo takes a lot of bobby pins. It doesn't take that long, but it takes a lot of bobby pins. And then the last thing, I know this is kind of a dumb moment, but when you're doing hair that's an updo, you always want to wear a tank top. Just because when you're trying to pull your shirt off, if you're changing, if you're going to wear the shirt, it's fine. If you're going to wear a t-shirt and you know what you're going to wear, that's fine. But when I'm getting ready, I don't know what I'm going to wear until after I'm done with everything else. And so I always try to wear a tank top, kind of like this one. And you can kind of see I'm wearing it, but I'm wearing it with a sweater because my room is cold right now. So just make sure that you're wearing something that you can easily pull over your head, especially with this look. If you mess it up, you basically have to start the entire thing over again because there's no way to fix it when it's already up. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'm going to put my camera behind my head so you can see from the back. So here we go. Alrighty. The first thing I'm going to do is brush through my hair. I already kind of did this whenever I went and brushed out the dry shampoo, but I want to make sure that there's no knots or tangles when I start out so there's no awkward bumps. Okay, and then you're going to section your hair off into 2 parts. So I always do kind of right above the ears, right here, and pull upwards. That way there's a little bit of a kind of uneven line like this, if you can kind of see. And this is where this clip comes in. You're going to clip your hair up like this so it's out of the way. Okay. Now this part is the easy part. So all you have to do is pull it over to the side like this and comb it over. And grab a couple of bobby pins and pin it right down the middle. Now, with this, it's a little tricky if you're trying to mess with short hair. My hair is kind of a mid-length, so I don't have to deal with it. But if you're working with shorter hair, some of these pieces might be a little bit small, and you can hairspray them to make them stay. Okay, now, you see it kind of how it's pinned like this? Okay. Now, what you're going to do the other side is you're going to take it and pull it out like this, and you're going to twist it. And I always just kind of twist it twice, but I push it in with my hands like this and make a little bit of a curl. And from the outside, it looks like a little bit of a barrel, but it's really just a simple twist. And the bottom can be a little bit tricky, so just tuck it in. And then bobby pin it. So you got those little pieces, and we'll fix those later. One more. Okay. So the bottom part's done, and that was really simple. I'm going to hairspray it really quick. And sometimes right here by the ear, it gets kind of pushy. So I'm going to hairspray that really quick while we're still down. Okay. Now I'm going to take the top piece, and this is kind of the complicated part. You have to be really careful not to mess up the bottom part while you're doing this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to section off my bangs, and you can't really see this, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to section off my bangs right here and pull them to the side. And if you don't have bangs, you can just pull off the front piece of your hair. I really don't have bangs either, but this is what the part you're going to pull down when you're done later. So don't look like a unicorn. And you're going to pull it down later. So I'm going to section it off and twist it up, and then pin it to the back. When you're done, it kind of looks like an awkward pin curl up here. Okay. So what I start doing is I just start teasing. So I pull mine up like this, as close as I can get it to the bottom while still leaving hair. Then I tease. And I've heard that back combing is really bad for your hair. Over all the years I've done it, the more damage comes from actually brushing out my hairspray, because it rips out your hair. And also when I wear my extensions, I know that it pulls out a ton of my hair. But for me, back combing is just an easier way to get things to stay. Back combing for me is also the best way to give big volume. I know some people like to use those bump things that are like plastic pieces you put in your hair. But for me, those don't really work because you can see them, especially when you have thin hair like I do. And I usually do 3 sections on the top. Depends on how thick or thin your hair is, how many you want to do. 3 usually works for me. I do it close to the bottom, middle, and then really close to the top, and then comb over it. That way it's not looking ratty at the top. And remember, you're going to tease, but you're also going to have to push it down and then back comb it up later. You'll see what I mean by that in a minute. Okay. I also tease the sides right here and right here, just to make sure that it's even. You can kind of see how it looks like a stick out spike. And we'll fix that in a minute when we put it down. Okay, so now that I teased it and everything, I kind of combed it over so it's smooth at the top, and I'll show you what to do with the back. Okay, you're going to do basically the exact same thing you did with the bottom part, except you have to be really careful not to mess up the bottom part when you're doing this. So I'm going to pull up all of the hair. Alright, and make sure that it's even on the top, so if there's any weird bumps, this is now the time to fix it. Especially because you can't really pull it down once it's done. You have to like completely restart. And don't be afraid to go too big with this hair, because you can always comb it down when you're pinning it. Whenever I wear my hair like this to work at Scarborough Renaissance Festival, and it's I always wear it really big there, but at school I try to keep it a little bit smaller down, like I'm going to today. You can tease it as big as you want. You can pin it as small as you want. So a good medium height whenever you're actually pinning it, or whenever you're actually teasing it, is always a good idea. Okay, now I'm going to start pinning again like I did the bottom. And I only usually do 1 pin right here, because the majority of your pins are going to go when you curl it. Okay, so this side's got awkward ponytail again. And I'm going to end up teasing again. Okay, I'm going to tease the front piece one more time. This, you see. And then that way there's some volume on that side, because the other side is going to get my bangs. Okay, so now that this is done, I'm going to curl it. And this side you might want to do a little bit tighter, just because depending on how big of a kind of a beehive you want, you really don't want a big loose bump in the back because it'll get pulled. But this part's always the cool part because you can kind of see how it comes together. And I always pin in the middle. I know it kind of looks funky, but that way it's more secure and it doesn't fall really easily. Okay, now I'm going to take my camera to the front and show you guys how to tease. Alrighty, okay, now that the back is done, it kind of looks really awkward in the front, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rat tail comb and I'm going to start teasing it. And it's kind of just like you stick it underneath and pull it up. So don't be afraid to just kind of like pull parts of it, because the little awkward bumps that you're going to have are because some parts aren't even. So I just pull up really hard on some parts. And pulling up from the back is always a good idea too, because that's where the majority of your volume is going to come from. I think one of my pieces needs to be pinned back here. And if there's weird bumps, when you're from the curl, like sometimes the curl doesn't go 100% correct, you can always pin it down. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay. And I just pull up. Let me just hairspray that part right there to make it stay. Because when you're pulling up this side, sometimes my hair is too short, and so it pulls it out of the curl, and the hairspray makes it stay. A little bit on this side. Okay, yeah, and see how I just pulled that piece up and it kind of smoothed it out? That's what you're looking for, because sometimes there are going to be some awkward bumps, and the only thing you can do really to fix that is hairspray. Especially when you have uncooperative hair like me. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, and you can kind of see from the back how it's kind of like a giant beehive a little bit. And this side's always going to be a little bit more round than the other side, just because that's where the side the curl is coming from. Okay, I'm going to hairspray this part. And I use a ton of this hairspray. I probably go through about a can a month. Number one, because it's so good. Number two, because my extensions take so much hairspray to actually keep the hair up. So, and for those of you who haven't seen my extensions, I don't know if I have them around here. I don't. But I'll do a tutorial on those too, I guess. Okay, so now you're going to pull down your bangs. And I only do like a small section of my bangs. So you can kind of see like it's just this right here. Kind of looks like an emo bang. But I always comb it to the left. That's just the way my hair naturally parts. You can comb it to whichever side you want. Just make sure that it's the side. I would always do it on the side that your roll is not coming from. So like my roll came from this side. So I went like this and pulled it over like that. But if you're wanting your bangs to go that way, then I would pull the roll over from this side just because it makes it so it's more volume. Almost. Okay. And I always take 1 or 2 bobby pins and pull this over. Sometimes it takes 3 depending on the day if my hair is cooperating or not. Ooh. Fix that in a minute. And I always do 1 right here behind the ear. And 1 at the very end if everything's smooth. Okay. Now, when I went to go pull that down, some bumps got made. And you can, if you're really good at combing and things like that, you can fix it. But otherwise, I would just hairspray because that's the easiest way to fix things like that. Because if you try to comb it, sometimes it pulls down more hair than you're actually looking for. And see, like I said, there's sometimes it takes 3. And it pulls down some extra pieces. Okay. I'm gonna do a little bit of hairspray and see if that fixes it. Yep, see, a little bit of hairspray fixes everything. Okay, I'm gonna tease this side a little bit more. Alrighty. I think we are done. Okay, so I'm gonna pull my camera up a little bit so you can kind of see from the top what it looks like. Excuse my messy room. And see, it kind of looks like a big bun. Alrighty. And that is how you do Joan Holloway hair. Hope you guys enjoyed.